Welcome back to Alley Chats. Today I have Ashley Esper with me. I am super excited for this interview. I'm always super excited on this show. It's because I love Artist Alley. Like, it's our favorite thing. Ashley, you agree, right?
Oh, completely.
Yeah, see, you've already heard her voice. I already spoiled it. Ashley, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. Can you tell the audience about you? Who are you? What do you do?
Thanks for having me, Rob. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking about me, my favorite subject. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm Ashley. I am originally from Detroit suburbs back in Michigan. I moved to the Chicagoland area about, almost 10 years ago now. Kind of working as a graphic designer. That was like, I've always been an artist at heart, but I took the so-called logistical approach and decided to take graphic design. That way I could make sure I have a career. And so
Sure.
I've been very lucky to work for a good 10 years as a graphic designer. Right now I'm kind of stepping away from that and just doing my own personal endeavors, like trying to freelance, do logos for people, do illustrations, still keep it in my roots, but still be true to what my art style is and what I want to do. Not necessarily you do stuff you want to do at your job, but I'm taking the reins and just making it my own. So cool. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer. Like I said, I live in Chicago now. And then I have a book that I just released. My first issue was released back in 2019.
Okay.
Ralph's. And it's just a silly nonsense gaggle of quick little, like, kind of Looney Tunes, Animaniac style, just quick cartoons, just about nothing. That was kind of my style, inspiring me to do these characters. Is just like, I love Looney Tunes. I love old classic cartoons like that. So
yeah, me too.
So a lot of those that sense of humor, the style and everything, you can definitely see it in my book, in my Ralph's. And I just released the issue 2 at the very beginning of 2020 last year, right before everything went down. So yeah, I've been very fortunate to work in the art field and also to put my own art out there. And I have a great group of friends in the Guerrilla Publishing and the Tales from the Cryptic Clost crew who just help me promote and help me find the way to get my artwork out there. And they're so great to collaborate with. And
oh yeah, I love them. That's why we're doing so much with them right now, because Ben and Julio, I've known those guys for a while, and now they've just brought in Matt Hansel, which, if you don't know Matt, you're gonna love Matt. Especially you say Looney Tunes and all that. He's Underdog and all that. He's a fantastic guy, another friend of mine. So I mean, just you're in the right place. You're with the right people.
Completely. I'm so lucky. These are my brothers. This is my family. Like I wouldn't be where I am because my art, it speaks for itself, but also, like, it's great to have some people around you to just
gotta have that support
up and build that confidence in you. So I'm fortunate.
So where can people pick up Ralph's?
You can find it on my website, skullsandsketches.com, and you can find me on social as well. Skulls and then sketches.com. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. Also on my Etsy page. I do have an Etsy page. I have Ralph's. I have prints, fan art type stuff. I also have greeting cards, all kinds of things.
Great. Okay. For the audience, they've heard me say this before, but you haven't. I'm going to need links for all that. We're going to throw that in the show notes, so it makes it really easy for people to go and buy your stuff. I love your stuff. So I'm totally encouraging people, go to the Etsy shop, order the books, support Guerrilla Publishing, all that stuff. And follow, I say this to everybody, follow Ashley, follow the artists, follow anyone we have on here on all their social media, because it really, really helps. You never know. You're going to see one of the little gags from Ralph's. It cracks you up. You share it. Boom. Viral. That would be good for you.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So that's why I encourage people to do it. It doesn't cost you anything. And it's just a great way to support all these hardworking artists out here, which Ashley, you totally are. So Cryptic Closet, you're doing artwork in the new volume, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And did you write the story, or were you paired with a writer?
This time around, I did my own story. So,
ooh, fun.
Yeah, the first issue, I collaborated with Anthony Cleveland on a story called Teddy, about a possessed teddy bear. I won't go any further. Pick up issue 1, you'll see what happens.
That's right.
Actually, in issue 2, there's a Ralph story. So in the second issue of Tales, there's a full 6-page Ralph story. that kind of goes along the lines of Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yes.
So yes, horror, yes, spooky kind of stuff, but also the humor. I feel like my stuff is kind of a palate cleanser when it comes to tales because it's dark and
it mixes it up.
Yeah, I think so because I love campy stuff.
Yeah.
I love anything campy, so that's why older horror movies. I love that stuff. I do dig some of the newer stuff, but if I can laugh about it and we can, murder and stuff is going on screen, but we can make some sort of humor out of it. So I like to look at my stuff as like a palate cleanser. So it's just a quick little 2-page story, and I'll just say this: hey, everybody needs to go to the doctor sometimes, even the boogeyman, even the werewolf. So what could happen at the horror themed doctor's office?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and if Abbott and Costello are involved, it's going to be a good time. That actually was one of my favorites as a kid because I watched all those old horror movies all the time, loved them, and it was always a treat. Once again, when the palate cleanser happened, and they happened to show on here in Chicago on WGN, they'd show Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Like that was must see TV for me.
Completely.
So yeah, I love that one. And I loved it in Cryptic Clost too. When I got to your story, I went the Ralph's book, the 6 pages. That was great. Same idea. It mixed it up. And that's something I really love about this Cryptic Clost project. I'm a big EC fan. Always loved those books, but that was, pretty uniform what it was doing. It was telling great stories, but it was pretty uniform in art style and everything. Here, mixing up the artists, mixing up the stories, the type of story, Deathbag being in the new one, having Ralph's in there. It's like, it makes it so much more interesting than just, here's a terrifying book, a bunch of terrifying stories. Because at some point, some of them are not going to be as terrifying to you, even though on their own, they probably are. If you have those palate cleansers, boy, it just makes everything stand out so much more.
I think it's great. It's just, like you said, it has something for everybody. It's a mixed bag of people, of styles, of even styles of horror. Some horror styles are not so gory. They're a little more psychological and they have a deeper meaning to it. So yeah. I think it's just somebody's going to find something in these books. And I think that's what a lot of us who work individually, but also in tales. If it's interesting to us, it'll be interesting to somebody else, So it's like you find your kindred spirits that way. And then you're also exposed to new styles and new stories that you weren't like expecting to hear or see. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. I want to see more. I think that's why we've been able to garner so much love for this book. Like last Kickstarter, in the midst of COVID, we were just like, oh, what's going to happen? Yeah,
what's going to happen? Right.
We nailed it. We got it. And we nailed it. So I think like just the fan base that we have just speaks for themselves is that, people want this stuff and it's different and interesting each time. It's always just such a cool thing to flip through the pages.
Yeah, I remember on that second one, I was talking to Ben about it and we were talking about the stretch goals. And at the time he was not revealing all of them. But he was like, oh, because I don't know if we're going to get there. I don't want to like put it out there, but he revealed a couple. And then offline, he told me about a couple other ones. He was like, oh, I want it because I want to get the stuff.
Yeah.
And you got them all. I mean, you crushed right through them. And this time, Julio was even cagier with me. He told me this much. And I'm like, look, you want to follow the Kickstarter because as they reveal these, they're just going to get better and better and better. So good. Yeah. And it's funny you're mentioning that, like that mix. I was just putting away a bunch of my media around here and two of my favorites, which are their own kind of genre, popped up. I am the biggest Reanimator fan on the planet. Mm-hmm. Now I'm older than you. I saw it in the theater when it came out. And I remember when we saw it, it was like nothing like that was ever out.
Right.
It was a packed theater. It was the 80s, packed theater, people screaming, laughing. And afterwards, I remember talking to friends of my parents that, you're talking a lot older than me. I thought this movie hit me like dead in the chest. It was awesome. They loved it. And like, I didn't know. And they were like, yeah, we don't like horror. What a great movie. And then the other one, same time period, Return of the Living Dead.
Classic.
I mean, you don't get any better than these. Oh, well, I mean, I've got a lot more I could add to the mix, but yeah, it's weird because that like kind of comedy Shaun of the Dead genre, that hits me so square on. Can't get enough of it.
It's funny because I was never really a horror fan when I was growing up. I was a scaredy cat. I was afraid of some weird stuff too. Like, just, why are you afraid of that? I don't know. But I think I was talking to Julie about it. I saw Saw in the movie theater, and that
Okay.
I know people feel the way they feel about the Saw franchise, but it's a whole special place in my heart.
I like it.
Because it I dove right in and like, okay, so this is it, right? And so I just started watching movies, and I like Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead. I was like, oh, there's more than just horror, spooky stuff. Like there could be some fun in this.
Right.
That's why I gravitated to it so much, and I went all in, and now it's like one of my favorite genres.
Well, you mentioned like Looney Tunes and that type of thing. You know, if you look back at when they made those, they spoofed a lot of like horror stuff from the time because it's so rich. There's so much to work with there. You know, so that was like for me probably the entry point was watching that and going, what are these things? And then I'd find out on Channel 9 when they had creature features. I'd watch that, and then Svengoolie started, and it was all downhill from there. I was addicted. And I'm not just horror. I'm all over the place, but it's generally, if it's a genre film, if it's campy, if it's cult, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So I get you, Ashley. I get you.
You get it.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. Oh no, before we do, I got another question. We were just talking about your Etsy shop and all that. Do you do commissions? Can people order commissions from you?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes,
where can they do that?
I am welcoming them. Yeah, you can email me. I think there's actually a button on my website that you can just request a commission from me. It'll go right to my email. You can message me on all the social medias, and we'll talk about what you're looking for. I'll ask all the questions, and then I'll get you a quote, and then we'll go from there.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, once again, everybody listening, do that. Okay, that was a nice command, right? You got to have a clear message when you're marketing.
Sure.
I think do it is about as clear as you get. Not even Nike with just do it. I think just is a modifier that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
So, okay, Ashley, who are your favorite artists? Let's go with all time. Favorite artists that you light up about?
So, going back.
Give me three.
Visually, Saul Bass.
Saul Bass, good
Saul
call.
Bass is my number one because I studied him very intensely in college. Like his simplistic style, his simple color palette, it drew me right in. So He was number one for me. I'm gonna go super contemporary. Or I don't know if contemporary is the right word. I love Dali. Dali is one of my favorite.
So modern. Mm-hmm. Yeah, modernism. Yeah, great.
Yep. He's one of my favorites. So him, Saul Bass, and I'm trying to think of somebody new because I feel like I'm gonna go back in time into all these.
You don't have to. You can.
Yeah, I'm stumped right now.
Top three off the top of your head.
I love my cohorts. There you go.
They inspire you.
Yeah, they inspire me all the time. They push me to do better. They validate me in what I'm doing, and all the little pieces I pulled from, whether it's an artist or movies, TV, or whatever. If I put it in a blender and I put it out there, and they lift me up and make me feel better about my art, and we just do it for each other. It's just so inspiring.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So you've been to a lot of artist alleys. We're almost done here. Got a couple more questions. You've been to a lot of artist alleys, a lot of cons, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's the best panel you ever went to?
The best panel I ever went to?
Yeah.
It was probably a voice acting panel. So I'm clearly into cartoons. I've been fortunate enough to meet a few of the voice actors that I've admired over the years and kind of developed a sort of a rapport. Let's see. I went to one where they did a reading. It was Rob Paulson, Billy West, and a bunch of other guys. And they did a reading of, I want to say it was Harry Potter.
Okay.
They just rotated voices.
I bet that was amazing.
Yeah. So as a guest going to that panel was just everything. I did get to do a panel at a art gallery one time. So I've only had one experience doing it myself. I would love to do more though. I would just love to talk about being an artist, being a female artist, just in this sea of what we're at, like in the Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area. I think we have a lot to say, and we're kind of, people are sleeping on us a little bit, but I think that we're kind of emerging, and I think we have a lot to say that people would be interested in.
Yeah, I love it. In fact, I'll keep that in mind because we run live events, we run microcons, we have 125 podcasts on our network. I will keep that in mind. Plus, we are one of the tenets of our business from the beginning, as we always said, we want to be really diverse because my world isn't made up of just white guys in their mom's basement voices. And we said we wanted 50% women voices on here. It didn't happen. We've gotten close, but it's tricky, because you don't want to also like push people away or whatever.
Sure.
But we've gotten really close, and we're big proponents of having everybody's voice on here because my world doesn't look like I said, 50-year-old. I mean, when I look in the mirror, it looks like a 50-year-old white dude looking in the mirror. But my world doesn't look like that. I remember I was driving Lyft for a while, and somebody was talking to me about that, and I said, I kind of took a tab over the course of a couple hours. And there was one guy like me, and the rest were everything under the sun, mostly women. Like, who are you talking to if you're not using their voice? Right. So I am with you on that. Plus, there's some amazing women artists and writers in this area.
Completely.
You're not that far from Linda Berry, who's like ground zero of like amazingness.
Yeah.
Emma Ferris, I think I say her name right, who wrote my favorite is Monsters. My favorite has always been Monsters. Do you know that book?
I'm not familiar with it, but
you need to see this book.
So I can learn too.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you a link to that. You'll come away from that and go, oh my God. And she's local. She's here in Chicago. So yeah. We got lots of links to put in this thing. Awesome. So your social media, give it one more time. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Skulls and Sketches, SKULLSN SKETCHES.
Great. And I will put that in the show notes, and that makes it nice and easy. But definitely follow Ashley, support her, get a commission, buy Cryptic Closet 3. In fact, right now, go to the Kickstarter for Cryptic Closet 3. You can look it up under that or under Guerrilla Publishing, not Gorilla Coco the Gorilla, but Guerrilla, GUERRILLA Publishing. And look up Cryptic Closet 3 and support it. Great rewards, great books. The one that I'm focused on was, I don't have physical copies. I was looking at the one where you get all 3 in physical copy. I'm like, come on, that's the deal right there.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, the whole thing. You got to have it all.
Yes.
You do. All right, Ashley, thank you so much for being on. I will invite you on other shows in the future. So this is not the last that my audience has heard from Ashley Esper.
No, because come September, there might be a special number 3 from a certain Ralph's.
Guess who's coming back? Are you going to kickstart it?
How was that?
Do you kickstart that?
I'm going to kickstart that as well.
Okay, so if you don't hear her here, you're definitely going to hear her on Go Fund This.
Absolutely.
There we go. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/alleychats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.